Welcome to the Explainer. We all know artificial intelligence can pick up on our worst biases, right? But what if we could actually build a better version of AI right from the very beginning? Well, today we're going to break down the global blueprint that's designed to do exactly that.
So let's dive right in. I mean, we're surrounded by AI. It's in the recommendations we get online, the tools that help doctors. It's everywhere. But as these systems get more and more powerful, they also create this really profound dilemma.
So think about it for a second. When an algorithm messes up, when it makes a biased decision, who's to blame? Is it the programmer, the company that pushed it out there, or maybe it's the data it learned from? And listen, this is not some theoretical ivory tower question. This has real-world consequences that are affecting people's lives like right now, every single day. Okay, here's a perfect and kind of unsettling example. A huge company built this AI to help them sort through job applications. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. They trained it on 10 years of their own hiring data from a really male-dominated industry. And what happened? The system basically taught itself that men were better candidates. It got so bad it would actually downgrade resumes that had the word women's in them, like captain of the women's chess club. No joke. Now, thankfully, the company caught the problem and they scrapped the whole thing. But man, what a wake-up call for the entire industry. See, the machine didn't just invent this bias out of thin air. It learned it from us. It was basically just holding up a mirror to our own biased history. So that leads to the big question. As these systems get even more powerful, how in the world do we make sure they're actually built to serve everyone fairly?
Well, it turns out that very question has been the focus of a massive global effort. And the good news is there's a plan, a blueprint even, for building AI that's aligned with our values right from the start.
And when I say massive, I am not kidding. We're talking over 1,000 experts here. Academics, engineers, ethicists, policymakers, you name it. They came together from 6 different continents to tackle this exact challenge. And this whole thing was pulled together by the IEEE. That's the world's largest technical professional organization for engineering and technology. So yeah, it's a big deal. So what came out of all this? A really comprehensive document called Ethically Aligned Design. And its vision is simple but powerful. It's not about making cool tech just for the sake of making cool tech. It's about putting human well-being front and center, the absolute heart of innovation.
Now, this isn't some list of rigid, unbreakable laws. Don't think of it like that. It's more like a guidebook, a shared vision with a ton of practical recommendations. It's really designed to give the people who are actually building this stuff, the engineers, the designers, a solid framework for making better, more conscious choices. So, to make this vision really practical, the whole framework is built on this really strong foundation, what they call the 3 pillars.
And what's so powerful about this is the structure itself. It's brilliant, really. It connects these big, abstract ideas directly to things you can actually do. So it starts with these core concepts, then it pulls out some high-level principles from those, and then, this is the key part, it maps those principles onto real-world problems. It's literally a bridge from theory to practice. Okay, so that first pillar is all about putting humans first. People, not the tech, are at the center of everything. And by the way, when you see AIS, that's just a shorthand for autonomous and intelligent systems. So the absolute baseline is that any of these systems have to respect fundamental human rights, period. But it goes even further. The ultimate measure of success isn't just about profit or efficiency. It's about whether the tech is actually making our lives better, improving human well-being. All right, pillar number 2. It's all about building trust. I mean, think about it. If we're going to accept these super powerful systems into our lives, we need proof, like real evidence that they actually work the way they're supposed to. And just as important, their decision-making process can't be some kind of mysterious black box. We have to be able to look under the hood and understand why an algorithm made the choice it did. And that brings us to the 3rd pillar, accountability. This is a huge one. If a system hurts someone, who's responsible? This framework says you have to design clear lines of responsibility right from the very beginning. It also means that the creators have a duty to, well, to think like a chess player. They have to think several moves ahead, anticipate how their tech could be misused, and build safeguards to prevent that from happening.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But you're probably wondering, how does any of this stuff translate into actual real-world impact?
Well, this is not some problem for the future. It's happening right now.
Just listen to the US Chief Justice, who pointed out that AI is already being used in our courtrooms, doing things like deciding if a defendant is a flight risk. I mean, when the stakes are literally people's freedom, these ethical guidelines we've been talking about become absolutely critical. The stakes just couldn't be higher.
And that's what's so useful here. The framework doesn't just give you these broad, fuzzy principles. It actually drills down and provides specific recommendations for different areas. So it'll take a big concept like human rights and show you exactly how that applies in the world of law, or in government policy, or even in big global goals like sustainable development. It's a really targeted, super practical approach.
And this whole effort has led to some really concrete, tangible results. For real. These principles have inspired more than a dozen new global technical standards. These are things that give engineers specific, testable rules for stuff like algorithmic bias and data privacy. It's also kicked off whole certification programs so companies can get their systems checked and verified. And there's a global community now to just keep this important conversation moving forward.
Now, there's a huge concern that this framework tackles head on, and it's a big one. Whose ethics are we even talking about here? Right? How do we make sure that AI ethics isn't just dominated by one single cultural perspective?
The document makes a really forceful argument here. It says that if we're going to build truly global technology, then we absolutely must include a diversity of human values. I mean, trying to force a narrow, maybe Silicon Valley-centric view of ethics onto the entire planet, that's not just arrogant, it's downright dangerous.
So what it does is it actually explores a whole range of global ethical traditions. Take, for example, the Southern African philosophy of Ubuntu. The core idea is a person through other persons. It really prioritizes the well-being of the community over just individual achievement. So, imagine an AI built on that idea. It might manage a city's traffic to optimize the flow for everyone, the collective good, even if that means some individual drivers have a slightly longer commute. Now, that's a sharp contrast to a more typical Western focus on individual rights, where the AI would probably try to find the absolute fastest route for each single driver. So by bringing in perspectives like this, and others, like Buddhist or Shinto ethics, the goal is to create a set of principles that's way more inclusive and works for everybody.
Okay, so this brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole incredible global effort.
Really, what this all boils down to is a pretty simple idea. Thinking about ethics isn't about slamming the brakes on innovation, not at all. It's about grabbing the steering wheel. We are the architects of this future. And frameworks like this one, ethically aligned design, they give us the tools to be better, more thoughtful architects, to build responsibly, to build intentionally, and to build a future that truly benefits all of us. So, look, we've seen that AI can be a mirror, reflecting our worst biases back at us. But we've also seen that it can be guided by our highest ideals. And now that you know this blueprint exists, the question really isn't if we can build ethical AI anymore. The question is, will we choose to?